2020 is coming to an end, and depending on your perspective, you could be thinking, finally, this year has dragged on forever. Or maybe, I can't believe it's December already. Where did the time go? I think this has been the fastest, slowest year ever. It's just been a weird year, hasn't it? But I know a lot of people would say that this year has also been a waste. 2020 is cancelled, and we just need to get out of here, move on to 2021 as soon as we possibly can. But is that true? Is 2020 a wasted year? Should we just write it off? Well, not so fast. I think there are things we can learn from this year that we would be very wise to remember. In particular, four things. Four things that are always true, but perhaps this year we have been able to see with greater clarity. So number one, we are not in control. It's tempting to think, I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. And that this year, a microscopic virus brought the whole world to a standstill. At many times this year, it's been obvious that things are far out of our hands. We're not in control. Number two, we need community. You've probably heard lots of people say that this year has reminded them of what is truly important. And of course, they're talking about relationships. And not just with our families, but wider communities of love and care and support. When we were forced into isolation, we realized how much we need other people. And other people need us as well. Which leads us to number three. Sacrifice for others is the highest good. Now, it hasn't always been easy, and you've probably prickled against it at some points this year, but there's something that deeply resonates with us, that giving up our own comfort for the sake of those who can't protect themselves is something good and right and true. And then finally, number four, we're going to die. This year has been lived under the shadow of death, hasn't it? And that's a really confronting but also clarifying truth. There's a verse in the Bible that says, "Teach us to number our days that we may gain a heart of wisdom." To know you're going to die is a thing that kind of focuses your vision on what really matters. And so there are four things. We're not in control. We need community. Sacrifice for the vulnerable is the highest good. We're going to die. And all of these things lead us to a fifth thing. And the fifth thing is actually not a thing at all. It's a person. I believe everything else finds its fulfillment in Jesus Christ. That all of these lessons are showing us how much we need Him. So we're not in control, but Jesus is. We don't live in a world of random chaos, but a world ruled by a king. And a king who cares for us. And because He cares for us, He invites us into community with Him. He wants to bring us into relationship with God, to be loved by God and to love God as we were made to. And He wants to share that community with us so much that He came into the world. He gave up His own comfort for the sake of vulnerable people like you and me. Jesus taught, greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends. And that's what Jesus did for us. Sacrifice resonates so deeply with us because at the heart of human history is Jesus laying down His life for us on the cross. And then in His resurrection, He offers us new life, even in the face of our inevitable death. See, at the end of this year, it's tempting to think that it's all been an unwelcome intrusion forced upon us by a merciless and chaotic universe. But I want you to consider this question. What if this year somehow is a gift given to us by a merciful and kind God? Now, I'm not for a minute suggesting that we brush over the grief and the pain and the loss of this year, and there has been much of that. But I am inviting you to see that in the middle of all of that mess, God is there, that He's graciously teaching us, and that He's gently leading us to Jesus, that we would know Jesus as our King, that we would know community with Him, that we would trust His perfect sacrifice for our salvation, that we would know His life. See, I'm praying that this year, God would lead you into the fullness of life that is found in Jesus Christ. Because if 2020 was the year that you met Jesus, then I can guarantee it wouldn't be a waste.